Hi, everyone. Welcome to Haptics Fireside Chat, where we get one of the experts from the industry to talk to us and share about the cool stuff that they are doing within their companies and how they are pushing the boundaries of digital transformation and technology adoption in their organization. Today, with me, I have Kirti Patil, who is a Senior Executive Vice President, IT, and the Chief Technology Officer for Kotak Life Insurance. Kirti looks after all the strategic technology initiatives at Kotak Life and is aligned to make sure that the organization's current and future business needs have a competitive edge. She's led multiple transformation initiatives in the organization, right from mobile based sales fulfillment, video based customer calling, deploying OCR and ICR for Salesforce management, enterprise class automated underwriting technologies, and obviously using RPA and bots within the organization. She's been a great supporter of Haptic and has always given Haptic the platform to try out something new within the organization, which is why we thought we'll have her on the panel today and share her learnings about how Kotak Life Insurance is adopting digital transformation and how are they really pushing the boundaries when it comes to using technology for making the business a lot more successful. Welcome, Kirti, to Haptics Fireside Chat, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Karthik. It's my pleasure to be here. Uh, uh, I hope you are having a great time working from home.
Yes, it's going pretty great. And again, thanks to digital technology, all of this is being
Yes,
made possible.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, on that note, Kirti, I would love to understand how is an organization like Kotak Life adopting to this new working from home routine? What are you guys doing?
So actually, let me just start with our digital journey, which we started maybe 3 to 4 years ago. And our digital initiatives or our digital transformation journey was really has been focused on three key philosophies. Okay, the first one being deliver uh, best in class experience to our customers. The second is constantly improve the productivity of our distribution. And third is, of course, improve efficiency all across, which will eventually lead to cost optimization. And taking these three philosophies in mind, we started taking a lot of initiatives. Now, let me talk about customer experience first. Uh, we implemented a lot of initiatives to enable self-service for the customer. Okay, like a chat bot, servicing on WhatsApp. Okay, we re-engineered our customer portal. This is just to name a few. The objective was to resolve customer queries real time and 24/7. Uh, we are also looking at future of interactions and investing in latest voice technologies as we speak. Uh, and all these, customer experience led initiatives, while they were started a couple of months ago or several months ago, they have really, really helped us during this current situation where everybody is locked down at home. Our customer service agents are at home, we are at home, customers are at home. And we have really seen a spike in our digital channels when it comes to customer experience.
Got it. So, what I'm hearing you say is all these initiatives that were started a few months back, right now you're able to really see the value of it because of the current situation.
Absolutely. But I would also like to mention about the other two focus areas for us, Karthik, if you let me. So on the distribution side, right? We said that how do we actually change the life of a distributor to help the distributor sell right, okay, sell more and sell fast. So that has been our initiatives have really been focused on these three areas. We recently launched an engagement app for our advisors, and we have named it Boost, okay, to give boost to the distributors' life and the business, right? This app actually helps the advisor to track her new sales leads, helps her upsell to maybe existing customers, helps her track her earnings, and many more such productivity led initiatives are in order. Uh, on the cost side, right? Now, I mean, cost optimization was always one of our focus areas, our philosophy. But in the current situation where everybody is under pressure to reduce cost, these initiatives also help us today, right? So, looking at optimizing utilization of resources was our priority, and for that we always look at new tech, okay, how and adapt to new tech to bring down the cost. And I'd like to mention only two areas very quickly. Okay, one is RPA. Okay, so we have been using RPA heavily in the back office processes, right? Be it MIS reporting, be it policy servicing, accounting, payment processing, and so on and so forth. But we also use RPA to integrate technology solutions and specifically integration with some of the legacy apps that we have. And where the cost of actually integration would have been much, much more if we have taken the traditional route. So RPA has helped us bring down costs in all these areas. The other is, of course, analytics. So we use a lot of analytics to bring down the cost. Okay, AI. So I'll just take one example here on the about the underwriting process. Okay, we wanted to bring down the human interactions in this whole policy issuance process. So we implemented a decision support system some time back, which lets us actually gives underwriting decision upfront in most of the cases. But as we speak, we are planning to use AI in this process to take this automation to the next level.
Got it. Interesting. So customer experience, enabling the sales force, and then analytics and cost optimization. This is the broad three themes that you are currently running. Interesting.
Right.
Seems like there's a lot of interesting projects going on within the organization. Uh, as someone who's driving this large change and innovation within, what is the most exciting project for you that you are extremely kicked about and see a lot of future potential in?
That's a very difficult question, okay, Karthik, because there are so many exciting projects that we are working on, and it will be unfair for me to call out only two. But since you're asking me about two, I'll pick up two. Okay, uh, analytics is one thing that I have to pick up. Okay, and the reason it is very exciting is because it is all pervasive. Okay, so we are doing analytics in the area of sales, in the area of distribution. So in the area of sales, what to sell, whom to sell, how to sell. Okay, data, we are using data efficiently to build models to help us do that. Okay, in the distribution space, to identify which are the agents who need to be engaged a lot more to make them more productive. Okay, building customer personas to identify which are the customers who would buy insurance, who would need more hand holding, who would raise certain kind of queries. Okay, uh, also looking at in the space of employees. Okay, what kind of employees would be the best employees for us, which kind of persona in the employee space is going to attract, and so on and so forth. That's one. Second is, of course, conversational AI. And the reason I say that is not because I'm talking to you, Karthik, but that has been exciting. And I'll tell you why it has been exciting. Okay, of course, solving customer queries was priority, right? And if you're able to do that real time, instantaneously, all the time, 24/7, with minimal errors, I mean that just gives us a big high. The other reason it is exciting is because we could implement it so quickly. Okay, otherwise traditional IT projects, some of them could take 30, 60, 90 days, and then the whole objective that you started off with perhaps has lost its sheen, right? So that's the second reason why it is exciting. The third one is, of course, we've started with a couple of use cases, but there are so many more use cases in this conversational AI space. And while I lead digital transformation, I believe that human interactions in the digital transformation are absolutely important. So, I mean, seems like a paradox, right? That on one hand, I say I want to eliminate human interactions, but on the other hand, I want to bring the human touch in it. So, what I'm saying is the technology should bring in the human touch, and therefore, a conversational AI is a very exciting project for me.
Got it. Awesome. Yeah. So, would love to go back in history a little bit. When you decided to say, okay, we need to implement conversational AI, how did the thought initially start within the organization, and how did you guys go about figuring out, okay, we need to do conversational AI, and what we need to do? How that exploration happened?
So we never started the journey by thinking of implementing a conversational AI.
Oh,
Okay,
awesome.
no, no, we wanted to address a problem. Okay, which is that how do we solve maximum customer queries real time and 24 by 7. Of course, we did not want to invest in contact center staff who's going to be available 24 by 7. And when we were looking at various options, we found and we realized that the most cost effective solution would be a conversational AI solution, and it would also be very quick to implement. Okay, so therefore we decided to implement a conversational AI solution. I mean, we didn't want to implement a solution. We decided to implement it because there was a problem to solve.
That's a great point you make. I mean, as we work with a lot of organizations, we do see people say, "All right, conversational AI is hot. We want to implement conversational AI." Whereas what I'm hearing from you is you went with the goal and the problem first, and then conversational AI became a solution that fits really well in. Uh,
Yeah.
awesome, great. So, were there any objections or concerns initially where I said, "Oh, whether this will work, it will not work"? Did that happen, or not as much?
Yeah, of course, those conversations do happen, and I believe they should happen. Okay, because then everything gets thrashed out. So one, you get a buy-in to any problems with whatever you're resolving are we are aware of, we resolve them, and so on and so forth. So there was some conversations that were happening. Okay? And the first question that came to everybody's mind, the team that was implementing it, the customer service team, digital team, everybody, right, is is a chatbot, okay, as we typically call a conversational AI solution, will it understand the customer queries? I mean, the query that a customer is raising in a conversational format. Okay, that was the first question that was definitely there in the minds of everybody. The second question was that, yeah, even if it understands, will the chatbot be able to resolve those queries? Okay, resolve those queries, one, and resolve those queries by giving the best answer. Okay, because the resolution of a query could be I don't know, but I mean that is not what we were trying to do. And the third one, of course, was that would we be able to automate this whole process? Okay, so that the query gets resolved then and there. I mean, we didn't want a bot to just accept a query and then pass it on to somebody else to resolve. And once we got convincing answers to these questions, we said yes, we can go ahead and implement a conversational AI solution.
Got it. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so definitely we worked very closely with your team, and I do see those were the initial concerns. And I think, at least speaking from Haptic's perspective, what really worked in this collaboration was how the teams collaborated and went after use cases piece by piece and got them to a certain level where the bot was smart enough to solve them. Uh,
Right.
one interesting thing that we noticed while working with the team at Kotak Life was the emphasis you all placed on the character or the avatar of the bot. It has a very nice name called Kaya. And that was honestly very unique for us to see that an organization placed so much importance for it. Would love to understand why so much focus on the avatar and that image of Kaya that you guys have created. What's the thought behind that?
Yeah, so I just touched upon it earlier, Karthik, that we just wanted to bring that human element, okay? Because
Yes.
we didn't want, while the customer is interacting with virtual assistant, we wanted that personal touch to be there, and therefore the emphasis on the avatar, okay? Now, why did we name our virtual assistant Kaya? Okay, actually, Kaya stands for Kotak Life at your service. That is Kaya. Okay, and we wanted, like I said, this Kaya to be a personal relationship manager, okay, for the customer queries. uh, we said it has to be a female, a 30-year-old female, looking at the target customer segment that she would help with their queries, right? And the target customer base was a digital savvy customer, either professionals and entrepreneurs in the age group of 25 to 45. So we thought a 30-year-old female with will fit this bill, okay? And we wanted Kaya to be very friendly in her conversation, at the same time very helpful. We also wanted Kaya to help address queries of our secondary customer database, customers who typically walk into our branches, okay, who expect a little senior customer service executive to handle their queries. And that is how Kaya Kaya came into being. And of course, Kaya is a part of our team, right? For us, Kaya is one of us. So we wanted Kaya to also fit in fit in with the other team members. And I think she's doing a wonderful job, gelling well with the team, and absolutely doing an awesome job in handling customer queries.
Yeah, yeah, totally. In fact, like any of your team members, we see Kaya is also improving with time, getting smarter and knowing more about the business and resolving
Yes.
queries. So, yeah, kudos to the entire team to bring that to life, honestly. Great. So, the bot's there, solutions implemented, Kaya is learning and improving. Would love to now understand a bit more about how do you see the performance of the bot and the metrics that it has impacted for you guys. How is that going for you, and how do you evaluate whether, from a metrics point of view, the bot is doing well or not?
So first, like I said, the objective was to solve queries real time, 24/7. Okay, so that Kaya is absolutely able to do. Second was, of course, to resolve the queries correctly. Only then the customers would be satisfied. And so customer satisfaction was the second metric, and I think Kaya is doing wonderfully well there. The third metric that, third problem perhaps that we were trying to resolve is that ability of our teams to handle peaks in customer queries. Okay, because there would be a sudden demand. Okay, typically when during the year end when people want to know about their premium certificates and so on and so forth. So ability of the platform to handle scale and peaks and troughs. So that Kaya is able to do very well. Third is of course the cost, because there is pressure on cost, right?
Sure.
So cost per customer or cost per customer query had to go down, and I'm happy to say that Kaya has helped us do that. And of course, very important is to free up our other contact service assistants to focus on more complex customer queries, more perhaps needs of customers where they really want to talk to a human being. And I think so far Kaya has done a great job.
Got it. Awesome. So seems like it's checking all the boxes in the right direction and driving a lot of ROI for you. Um, Having successfully implemented a conversational AI solution and been able to also achieve the business metrics, uh, is there any advice or suggestion you would like to give other organizations who are just beginning to go on that journey? Any best practices that you would like to share for other organizations?
Are you talking about conversational AI implementation or general digital initiatives?
Conversational AI specifically for this question.
Okay, so like I said, I mean, what I say could also be applicable to any other digital initiative. So, like I mentioned, the business objective has to be very clearly defined. Okay, first there has to be a problem, and to address that problem, what is the objective that an organization is trying to drive has to be first understood, agreed. Okay, then comes the technology. Okay, because we are an insurance company, right? And so we don't want to implement a tech for the sake of it. We have to solve a business problem. So then the tech, so there has to be a good fit of the tech with the business problem. Third is identification of the right partner. Okay, so when I say partner, of course, the partner will bring the tech. Okay, but it's not only the technology, the platform. So in this case, we are using a platform. But if it's not a platform, then the ability to deliver whatever we are asking the partner to deliver. Okay, that is the third thing that one needs to look at. The ability of the partner, the ability of the technology, and the ability of the solution to have similar roadmap that you would have to address that business problem. Okay, so if you want to say tomorrow move on to a different use case, then is the partner technology platform going to be able to do that? Otherwise, what you do is, I mean, you have to keep looking at multiple techs and multiple solutions all across. and uh, and I think start small, look at an MVP and go ahead, because a lot of things happen if you do that. Okay, you get a confidence of what you're doing. You're able to deliver something very quickly to the business. You get learnings from the first implementation, and you can move on, because I believe it is a journey. Okay, and so whatever we do has to be for the journey, for the customer, for my team and for the partner. Yeah.
Got it. One little follow-on question to that, which is very interesting. You mentioned how the platform or the partner needs to align with your journey and what you have in plan for the future. So, what's next for Kotak Life Insurance when it comes to conversational AI? What is next in that journey? What are you guys thinking?
So like I said, there are so many conversations that happen in a firm, right? And we just looked at the conversations that our customers are having with us. So of course, the next one was how do we uh, help with the queries or the conversations that our distributors are having with us. We have a large number of distributors spread across the country,
Yeah.
and they also have the need to reach out to us. And I'm happy to tell the audience here, Karthik, I'm sure you are aware of it, that we've already implemented a solution to handle those distributor queries, and it is happily sitting in the app Boost. Okay, so it is a seamless experience for them. Okay, they don't have to go elsewhere to ask their queries. So that's the second one. The third one is, of course, the employee queries, right? We also have a large number of employees, and employees have varied queries, be it queries pertaining to tech, be it queries pertaining to HR, their salaries, leave, and so on and so forth. So we've not implemented that yet, but we are in the process of we've evaluated, finalized, and we would start that journey very soon. The other area, which is the sales area, right? So we are actually looking at using Kaya to get us some sales leads. Okay, and we've already done that. So can that conversation help us get more leads? Okay, and now what we are wanting to do is, can we use Kaya to actually propose a product for the customer and then help the customer in the whole sales fulfillment cycle? So one is the conversations and two is the sales cycle. So we are looking at conversational AI in multiple areas.
Got it. Interesting. Interesting. How you're spreading the kind of customers or people the bots can address, as well as the use cases that's
That's right.
and yeah, and obviously the third dimension, which now we're beginning to work with the team on, is more channels. So we are beginning to add this on WhatsApp and other channels as well. Great to hear that.
Yeah. So actually, that is very important, Karthik, because the customer wants the service at her doorstep, right? So if the customer is on a portal, then that Kaya should be available there. If on WhatsApp, Kaya should be there, right? Or wherever I'm on the mobile phone, Kaya should be there. So therefore, it is important for us to work with the partner, have a solution which could easily integrate with all the digital assets that we have built.
And interesting. Awesome. Great. I think those were the key things I wanted to understand in terms of how you are running the entire digital transformation as well as the implementation of conversational AI at Kotak Life Insurance. Thank you so much, Kirti, for your time. It was a really interesting short session. You managed to pack in a lot of information in the quick session that we did. So thank you so much, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with the entire team at Kotak Life Insurance.
Thank you for inviting me for this short and sweet, lovely fireside chat, Karthik, and look forward to another one, maybe face to face after the lockdown is called out.
Awesome. Yeah, that hopefully should happen soon. Until then, stay safe and thank you once again.
Thank you.